Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil because sometimes people do some horrendous stuff and still kind of wonder if they actually did some horrendous stuff. So if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up some wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% of your next order of gamer subs, use code TELLME at checkout or click the link down below. It applies it automatically to the transaction and it helps support the channel. Am I the a-hole for lying to my young child? I know for sure this is going to be a yes, but now I'm honestly just concerned. What the shit was the lie? My husband and I, 33 and 32, have two young children. We are conservative Jews who respect the laws of kashrut, keeping kosher, Shabbat, and other Jewish laws. We were both raised in Jewish homes. My parents were more traditional and have become more religious in time, while my husband's parents have become a little less observant with time. One of my brother-in-laws married into a very secular family. The other married into a Catholic family. We obviously love them all the same and still spend plenty of time together. Before we had children, my husband and I would usually concede our practicing preferences in the name of spending time with the family. But that has now changed as we have small impressionable children. The issue is that husband's parents have not understood why my husband and I are setting boundaries because of our religious observances. They are unhappy that we do not attend our nephew's baseball games on Saturdays, as we are in synagogue services, for example. Even if we attend the ones on Sunday, family for them takes priority, even if it means not celebrating a big holiday. I respect them and their choices, and am trying to raise my kids to have a good relationship with their extended families, while also instilling in them the values their father and I hold dear, until they are old enough to decide for themselves. I had a bit of a difficult situation recently. We were over at my in-laws, with all my brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, nephews, and nieces, for a Shabbat, a Friday night dinner, and my in-laws made us some vegetarian food and made themselves and the rest of the family a dish with shrimp. Shrimp is shellfish, which is not kosher. My youngest, who is 4, knows about kashrut and asked me, "Why is Grandpa eating shrimp? Isn't shrimp not kosher?" Which I did not know how to answer. My husband did not seem like he had an answer. My children, 4 and 5, were both a little young, and I think for the conversation on free will, and how every individual is entitled to their choices and freedoms. I froze in that moment, and told them a story that I thought was neither too big of a lie, or something insulting to everyone at the table. I said, "Remember how in Judaism, the biggest commandment is preserving and saving a life, and doing things for our health? Well, Grandpa has a medical condition, and it turns out shrimp is what helps him feel better. So that's why he does it. Isn't that cool how health is the most important thing?" If he were older, I would obviously explain to him that his grandparents are less observant, but he is at an age where he is very impressionable, and is learning all of these concepts. I fully support him deciding for himself when he is older for what he wants, but I worry it would be confusing for him now to see his grandparents doing something he is learning in school is not okay. My husband later told me that I should have just turned the question to his dad. Am I a horrible parent for lying to my child? I feel like he's too young to grasp the concept of agency. Yeah, I kinda think you are, because I don't really think there's a bit of an age limit for telling somebody that they can make their own choices for things. And it seems like religion is really high up there in the priority list, to the point, obviously, where you'd be lying to your kids to keep them in your religion, as if you told them, hey, yeah, you're allowed to eat shrimp, would automatically make them want to change religions right then and there. So yeah, way to go having Grandpa gonna die being the reason that Grandpa gonna be allowed to eat shrimp is understandable to your kid. Way to go. Am I the a-hole for not giving my son my car to pay off his debt? Let's start from the very beginning. Over 20 years ago, I divorced from my then wife. I had 2 kids with her. My oldest son and my youngest daughter. Dude, you had 2 kids. You could have said your daughter and son, stuff like that. I always had a very good relationship with my son. He was my one and only. At the age of 17, my son moved in with me and my girlfriend. I always tried to get my daughter to move in too, but she refused. I tried to make it nice for us, but soon, I realized that having another mouth to feed was empty, my bank account faster than I could see. I soon jumped from workplace to workplace and asked all of my friends for money, which I barely was able to pay back. So, I started asking my son for money. He paid for groceries here and there over the years. Then, he helped me with some bills, and even got a credit card on his name for us to use, since I couldn't get one due to my debt. It went well for a bunch of years, but still, my money was always on the low. I forgot to pay my car insurance for a few months, and they ended my contract. So, I created a new one in my son's name on it. I asked him, of course, as always, so he had always knew what he was getting himself into. Soon, he moved out and moved in with his girlfriend. She was a very nice girl, or so I thought. He soon asked me to pay him back some money, since he now had some credit card debt. He did the math, and it summed up to around $10,000. I really didn't have that kind of money, and he knew that. He soon went no contact. He visited me, and we talked normally for some time. Then, he started asking me for my car. He asked me if I could give him my car, so he could sell it and pay off his debts. I told him no immediately. I needed the car for my new job, since it was in the neighboring city. He told me to take the train and bus, and that there were cheap tickets, and my job could help me get a permanent ticket. I told him that I couldn't do that. That was at the end of 2021. I told him if I didn't have the money for his debt until January of 2022, he could have the car. After that conversation, he went no contact. January came, and I didn't have the money. I really couldn't bring it up, and I told him that. He asked about my promise and the car, but I know I didn't promise him anything. I told him I still need the car. We had a long fight over the phone, in which his girlfriend said that a loving father wouldn't do something like that to his son, with which she meant all the money I took from him. And with that statement, she was dead to me. I got diagnosed due to depression from the situation. I do regret my mistakes, but I think he made me suffer enough. I miss my son, but until he apologizes for treating me like this, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I feel so torn. My daughter isn't there for me either. Am I the a-hole? TLDR, I refused to give my son my car to pay off his debt, blaming me for everything, even though he always knew that he's getting himself into and now doesn't talk to me. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, toy, because you aren't paying him back and you don't want to. So, you decided to borrow multiple times a very large amount coming out to $10,000, and you are not doing anything really to pay it back, and you're wondering why your son wants the car because, oh, I don't know, that's probably one of the few things you have that has that much value to it that could be used to pay off the debts, but oh no, you don't want to get rid of that because that has value. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my daughter? Okay, I'm going to be honest, this seems horrible right off of the top of me writing it, but I need some advice from other parties that might be able to relate or give insight. I, 37M, have a daughter, 16F. I've always tried my best to be a supportive father, and even though co-parenting, I've been her sole caretaker since she was 10 years of age, and I love her to death. The problem is that she keeps things from me, and I mean everything. I have no problems with that. She values her privacy and I value mine, and there's just a point that makes her think, okay, and why couldn't you tell me that sooner? Recently, the incident that sparked the argument between me and her was finding out that she was gay. Now, I have no problem whatsoever with anybody in the LGBT community. I just don't support it. I don't hate them. They're humans, just like us. I found out through an Instagram post on the caption, "Me and my Pookie forever," or something, and it was another girl hugging and kissing her on the cheek. Was I angry? Heck yeah. She could have told me this sooner. She's my daughter. I'm starting to feel like I'm just the guy that helps her with her homework and makes her food and buys her stuff instead of her father. It hurts me so much just looking at that picture. What really am I to her? I waited until she got home to confront her about it. The anger was visible on my face, and I could tell that she knew the atmosphere was tight the moment that she walked into the door. I immediately showed her the picture, asking what was this. She tried playing it off, saying, "Oh, it's a joke," and stuff like that, but she is a horrible liar. I asked her again. I was getting angrier each time she continued lying. Finally, my voice raised, and I could hear it echo through our home. I could tell that she was stunned for a few seconds before she immediately started yelling at me back. She admitted to me that she did like girls, and started saying that I'm never there for her, and that I don't understand her, and you have no idea what is going on in her life. It honestly broke my heart into pieces. I felt like she hated me. The words pierced my heart, and I felt pain all in my body. She stormed off into her room, and now she won't talk to me. I understand why she's angry at me. She knows that I don't support the community, and I could see how that would be hard telling me that. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't support her. Maybe I need to stop being so closed-minded. I try my best buying her all of the clothes that she wants. She is alternative, something along the lines of emo, I think. And I would try doing my best in her favor, but it hurts so much that she doesn't trust me or tells me anything. I feel so bad for raising my voice at her, and it's been draining the happiness out of having her mad at me. I just need help to see if I'm in the wrong in the situation because I feel like I am. No shit. Edit. I wasn't/am not mad at her for being part of the LGBTQ community. I was mad for the lack of trust and communication that she has in me. My anger boiled over when it was something as important as that, and she didn't tell me. I almost never yell at her, and this had to be the first time in years that I've had. Yes, except the part you don't seem to be getting is that you say that you don't support the LGBT community, one of which your daughter happens to be a part of, and yeah, your parent telling you that to your face probably does bite a bit, because it's like your parents saying, "I don't support your beliefs." You can't really say that you don't support a community, meanwhile supporting your daughter who is a part of that community. It very much just feels like overall, you don't support what is going on. Am I the a-hole for telling the best man I will never forgive him for dropping out of our wedding? I, 23F, and my fiancé, 23M, are getting married in less than a month. We have been planning our wedding for almost a year, and my fiancé asked his best friend to be his best man right at the start of the planning process. At this point in the process, we have paid for all of the vendors, and everything has been finalized, not including things like my dress, hair, and M/U for the girls, or even the church fee. Our cost per guest is about $450 a person. My fiance has already had half of his groomsmen drop out due to both valid and invalid reasons, and has also had even more people say they won't come in recent weeks because they don't agree with my husband's and my political leanings. All of that is context to say that the best man called my fiance last night to say that he can't make it for financial reasons. I don't want to blast anyone's finances on the internet, but I will say that it is not that he has fallen on hard times or is unable to feed himself, but rather the financial reasons are to do with a lack of planning and fiscal responsibility. My fiance is mad, but doesn't have the time or energy to hold a grudge about it. I, on the other hand, am absolutely irate on his behalf. I reached out to the best man to express my frustration and disappointment that he couldn't, 1, be there for someone who considers him his best friend, and 2, at least give us some notice so that we don't have to spend $450 on someone who isn't going to show up. It frankly feels like both a huge disrespect to my future husband, as well as feeling like he just stole hundreds of dollars from us. I told him that I know my fiance will be forgiving and will move on, but that I wanted him to know I am not as forgiving, and that I will likely be mad about, or at least never forget about this, for years. That may have been a little harsh, but I did also go on to tell him that I want my fiancé to be happy, and that I could pay for his suit rental and plane ticket out of my own pocket to fix the situation if it means that he could be there for my fiancé. I want everyone to be there as possible, since my fiancé has already had so many people cancel. My fiancé says he understands why I told him off, but wishes I hadn't. His sister is on the side and says that she would have done the same thing. My bridesmaids and parents say that I shouldn't have said anything at all, and the worst man has blocked my number. I want him to know how incredibly disappointed and disrespectful his last-minute cancel is. But I don't want to put my fiance's relationship with his friends at jeopardy. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I would say so, because, yeah, I can understand that people canceling because life happens or any other reason, yeah, it does kinda suck. But you doing the whole getting upset on your husband's behalf very much got the vibes of, this is my wedding, not our wedding. Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to stop calling his mom every day? Yeah, doy, right off the bat. I, 21F, and my boyfriend, 25F, have been together for 2 years now. We've been living together for about 4 months now, and I like to think that we have a great relationship. I typically can bring stuff up that if anything bothers me in the moment, and we have a very mature conversation about it and compromise, which is why this has been on my mind the last couple of weeks. My boyfriend is a Latino. For those who know, typically in Latin cultures, the family bond is very strong, especially the son and mother relationship. I, on the other hand, am Asian. For those that don't know, many Asian families are very surface-level relationships. My parents and I do not have a bad relationship, but we definitely don't have a good relationship. I do enjoy spending time with them when I do see them, but we never have talked about feelings or anything beyond gossiping or my job. I admire the relationship my boyfriend has with his family. I always knew my boyfriend was very close to his family, but ever since we moved in together, I realized how close they really are. He calls his parents, divorced, every day on the way back from work, and will sit in the driveway for a while and still on the phone. When he is walking in the front door, sometimes will come in and go to his office and continue his phone call. I get along with his parents very well, and will sometimes talk to them if they ask for me. As stated before, I'm not extremely close to my parents. My parents and I only contact each other to update on a prior situation, or have any leftovers we want to give each other, or when we need something. never just to talk. Last month, his grandma passed away. His mom had been in Mexico for the past 2 months to spend her last moments with her mother and to figure out will details, etc. From what I know, my boyfriend's grandma has a lot of assets to her name. There's been a lot of family drama, and his mom has really been struggling, as anyone would. He's been going back and forth the past couple of months to be with his family and be there for his mom, which I completely understand and agree with. Understandably, his mom has been heartbroken the past couple of months. She calls her son crying every day and night. She calls him to get his opinion on family drama, or just cause she misses her mom, or people have been threatening the family to take assets belonging to the grandma. I'm not sure how important his family is. I've never bothered to ask, but seems like they are a big shot from the stories I'm hearing from my boyfriend. I thought this was such a nice gesture from my boyfriend to always pick up, always drops what he's doing to make sure that he can ease some of her pain and anxiety that she is going through, until I found out recently that she only calls him. She doesn't call her husband or any of my boyfriend's siblings. Every time she is having a breakdown, he is the first and only person that she goes to for comfort, not her own husband. This is just something that cannot understand. This is completely the opposite from what I've grown up around. My parents never would rely on me for comfort from family drama, let alone talk about feelings. Culturally, this is just something that is very hard for me to understand. After hearing about this, I started to overthink about past interactions. In the past, we always had plans to go to the outlet with me and my boyfriend, his mom, and his siblings. But last minute, his mom decided that she didn't want to go anymore and wanted to have barbecue instead. We came to the conclusion that I take his siblings to the outlet while they prep for the barbecue and have a barbecue later that night so that we can all do what we wanted to do. But I asked him if he wanted to go, and he said he was really excited to go to the outlets, but he didn't want to leave his mom behind. I thought nothing of this in the moment, but now I am overthinking everything. Although this whole situation is an extreme, given that there is a grief of a family member, I'm afraid of how my boyfriend and his mom's relationship will affect me and my boyfriend's relationship later down the line. I love my boyfriend, and he makes me very happy. This is someone I finally realistically see a future with. And I really like being around this family, including his mom. I don't have any type of issue with his mom, but I fear someday I'm going to need him the same time his mom is going to need him, and I won't be the one that he chooses. I don't want to come between him and his mom, but I definitely don't want his mom to come in between us. I don't want to have to ask my boyfriend to distance himself from his family, but I also have boundaries I need to establish. Would I be the a-hole for asking him to stop calling his mom every day? Sorry about the rambling. I've just done very in my head about this and needed an outside perspective. So your boyfriend's culture is different than yours, which is more family-oriented, versus yours, which is more solitary in comparison. And your boyfriend's mother's mom just died, so you're upset that he's talking to her, or what? What are you upset about? But with that last, questionable person, that's gonna have to be it with the video. If you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!